Hi, Deacon John Wilson here, Education Enrichment Director for West Angeles Church. That's the church behind me that supports me. Our pastor is Bishop Charles E. Blake. I thank God for him and his leadership as a vision for education and development of youth that makes me so excited to work here. Let's just for a few minutes consider why apply to California State University, or CSU. In an earlier video, I discussed that they have extended their due dates, and there has not been a lot of applications for CSU this year. There were a lot, but not nearly the amount they normally get, and that's why 14 of the campuses are still accepting applications for CSU. We'll review that again very shortly, but this video is not for that reason since we did it. We want to talk about some concrete reasons why a student would apply for CSU. All right. There's a review of where the CSUs are located. There are 23 of them. It is the largest public university system in the United States, with schools in a variety of settings, rural, urban, suburban. They're all over, up and down the state, larger, smaller, medium. There's a lot of variety in the schools, and that itself is a reason I could have listed today. There's a lot of variety. You'll find something that suits your needs as a youth or as a parent that you think suits their educational needs, the youth's educational needs, because you are the one that's paying for CSU. There's a list of the deadlines of the CSUs, the campuses that are still taking applications. The due date in some cases has been extended to March 1st or a little later. You can see down at the bottom of the list. So that's a lot more time to apply to CSU. CSUs are turning around those pretty quick. Students are getting admitted very early this year. So you want to get that in and get a proper application in and get that done if you didn't have a chance to do it earlier. Finally, okay, let's go ahead and cover why should your youth apply to CSU? I guess that isn't readily apparent to people. The first reason is right here, and that it relates to the timing of the college season. By the time the college decision is made, it will be too late for a student to change his or her mind. They may have a good reason to, and usually it's around cost, or it could this year be COVID-19 campus opening issues that may not be going on at CSU. CSU has said they intend to return to campus in some form in the fall, but what if in other parts of the country it does not happen? And right now, looking in places like New York, up and down the East Coast, I can see a scenario where none of those schools will be back in the fall. So the student may decide, or you may decide, you aren't going to pay for a virtual education 4 or 5 or 6 times the cost of CSU. All right. You may just want them to go ahead and attend CSU. And it isn't a quality concern, as I said before. CSUs are high quality, great accredited education. All of them are fine schools. In fact, many of the CSUs, I think it's 18 of them, are highly ranked in several academic categories or career development categories. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about CSU. Now, CSU is a far lower cost than UC or certainly private colleges. Do you realize the tuition at CSU is 1/10 the cost of USC? I mean, and you'd have to, even if you stipulate that USC is better, you have to ask yourself, is it 10 times better? And USC is a fine, fine school. So that's not my point at all. It's just to let you know it's a far lower cost. And that's something to consider when you're looking at schools, especially you parents who are in COVID-19 affected careers that are having an impact. You don't want to get a lot of college debt. I have earlier videos about why is private college cost so much. Now I'll do some cost comparison videos very shortly, but I really need you to think about, is this the right time to take on a lot of debt for your child's college when they can get a really good education here in the state of California with our fabulous CSUs? And there's 14 still taking applications. CSUs are comparatively more ethnically diverse than most schools. You will find that. Now, there's some CSUs that are not as ethnically diverse. There's a very few of them, but in the urban areas, they're very ethnically diverse. And a lot of them have won awards for diversity, such as San Jose and California State Dominguez Hills and some of the other CSUs have won awards, diversity kind of awards. It's a very diverse college system. You need to understand that. Students can be away, but still close enough to home. And that's actually a very good reason. And admissibility is not an issue at all. I mean, if your student has a C average and wants to go to a whole lot of schools that he or she can't get into, and you're letting them apply, you need to let them do it, but make them promise to apply for CSUs, because you don't want them to not have a four-year alternative. Well, if they're 2.5 or above and they have the proper CSU list, I'll tell you how to do that in a minute. That's not an issue at all. So these are some really good reasons to consider CSU. I hope that you will take that into account and take advantage of these lengthened opening periods that are unprecedented and get your student to apply to CSU. Now, as I said earlier, if you want us to help you, right, or you want to have the right CSU list, okay, or understand more about fee waivers or whatever it is about CSU, get a hold of us right away. There's our website. You can slip us a note there. There's our Facebook. There's our Twitter. There's my email address. And you can also email my assistant if you want to just go right to getting help in the CSU application. You need a copy of the presentation that I have here today. That's cmartinez.eep@gmail.com. I hope this video was helpful to you. I hope to hear from you soon. If you're interested in your student attending CSU, or if you have any questions about this presentation. All right. Thank you very much. Bye-bye now.